they didn't. Yeah, yeah. And it was, when I was in college, I said, I wanted to get a teaching license because I said, after I graduated, I'd really like to teach in, inner city school like Trenton. And they said, that's great, which is so unusual.
That is great. That is awesome.
But my brother, is also, after he went to college, he went to seminary.
Oh, wow.
He also went to good school. He went to Yale. And so, people tend to make fun of my parents, like, your kids went to such expensive schools. One of them's going to be a teacher. The other's going to be a minister.
No one's bringing in the money.
No one's bringing in the money. What are you thinking? So, but I have no regrets. I have no regrets, and I think my children, who are 4 and 7 years old, I want them to have these values. To serve God first, and foremost, but to live your life in a way so that you can be meaningful and to serve others.
Okay. Just a fun little question real quick. Could you give a picture of the young Sam Yoon? What was he like?
The young Sam Yoon. Oh no. I think I was kind of geeky. Yeah. My friends made fun of me because when I was in middle school, my parents sent me to this like a study camp.
A study camp?
Well, not a study camp, but it's like an academic camp. I was only in 7th and 8th grade, and I took math, and logic.
Logic. Interesting.
So, of course, my friends never stopped making fun of me for years, saying, you went to logic camp.
Yeah.
But I told them, there are plenty of girls at this camp.
Oh, interesting.
So you learn a lot when you're away from home, supposedly studying math and logic.
That's great.
But also, I tried to be cool, and the fact that my parents made me take piano lessons, like every Korean parent does, practically. But I used that to be in a rock band.
No.
So,
You are a former rock band member?
When I was in high school, the big stars were like Billy Idol. People you probably don't even know. David Bowie.
Right.
But we also so those were, talking about role models, those were my role modals. No.
Oh, that's great. Did you sing at all? Or just
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Can you let us hear a little something?
If I really want to run for mayor, I probably better not sing on camera. I had fun in high school.
Sounds like you led a very balanced life too.
I tried to, but again, because of my parents' influence and the way they were raised, I had a lot of pressure. Being the first child, you can probably relate. All the kind of pressure is on you to be successful because your parents have never had any other experience. You're the guinea pig, exactly. So a lot of that pressure from my parents were, my dad especially was on the SATs, and he for some reason got it in his head that I had to get 1,400 on my SATs.
A perfect score.
The scoring is different nowadays, but 1,400 is very high.
Oh, out of 16.
Out of 1,600,
okay.
Yeah. But back then it was 14. He just got this number in his head, and he said, you have to get it, or else you have to quit your rock band.
Did you get it?
And the story is, I took the test, and then I was learning how to drive. I was 16, and I came back with my mother from a driving lesson, and my brother, who was a mischievous young fellow, had actually gotten my score. Of course, in those days, it came through the mail.
Right.
So he had clearly opened up, the letter with my score. But as I pulled up the driveway and opened the garage door, my brother had taped this huge flag on the bottom of the garage door. And when the garage door came up, this flag said 1,400. That's exactly what I got.
Oh my gosh, that deserves a high five.
Yeah.
Wow.
My high school life was saved.
Wow.
Because I got exactly the score that my dad made me.
I'm sure you studied hard for it, but I feel like there's a tint of a self-fulfilling prophecy right there.
Could have been. It could have been. Yeah.
Your parents are powerful beings.
They are. They certainly are.
Okay. You made history in becoming the first Asian American to not only run but to be elected as a counselor at large for the city of Boston. So what prompted you to give up the relative stability of this position and to run for mayor?
That's a great question. I could have chosen to run for re-election as a city councilor, and in fact, I have to give up my seat. So this November, I will either be mayor-elect of Boston, or I will be finishing up my last few months as a city councilor. This will be it. And I'm running for mayor because my 3 years in City Hall have shown me that we need to make some fundamental changes in the way we do government here at City Hall. Because our politics is really so focused on power, and it's not focused enough on ideas. And our politics in where I want to see us go to is not being about kind of divide and conquer politics, but a politics where we're bringing people together. And that's what I think is really missing in Boston city government and in our politics. So that's why, I said I could be, a third term city councilor and run again for a third term, but I'm not going to have the power and the influence to make those changes to our politics. The only way to do it is through the office of the mayor. So that's why I'm running.
Okay, then make a very strong argument for yourself, sir, as you explain why we should choose you as mayor as opposed to the other 3 candidates.
Well, the simplest way that I can put it is, if the city of Boston wants a traditional Boston politician to be their next mayor, they have 2 very good choices. But it's not me. I am not a traditional Boston politician. Mm-hmm. I have experience in community organizing, in building affordable housing, teaching in the classrooms, studying government, and I have some time in City Hall understanding, government and politics. And all of that kind of adds up to what I think a 21st century mayor needs, mm-hmm. which is not just politics, but some understanding of how all these other pieces of a city really work. And so, this is the choice that's for the voters. I believe our city could be a much better place, if we moved ahead with a new kind of politics. But that choice is up to the voters, because there are 2 others, who come from much more traditional political background.
Okay, one last question then. What do you need most right now to win, and how can the Korean American community help out in any way?
Well, what we need most is resources, money, of course, never by itself can win a campaign, but you can't win a campaign without money. I believe in this city enough to be very clear with anyone that if they really believe that our city can move into a new direction, that I can be a political leader that points to the future, then I need people's help, in terms of fundraising. And I've been criticized for going outside of the city, outside of the state to raise money, and the fact is, most of the donations still come locally, and it should, because it's a local race. But I'm not at all shy about asking people from outside of the state for resources. And I'm happy to take, those donations, because guess what? People who are outside of Boston who give money, if they're Korean American or Asian American, they want to give it to me for a very pure reason, which is that they want to see me successful and kind of be a role model for Korean Americans. And I'm happy to do that, because I think that's a responsibility that I have, given the life that I've chosen.
Well, thank you for your time, Sam.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.